interesting talk here on winetalk.org. I have George Bursick here with Jay Vineyards, and we're just going to kind of talk about all the great wines that Jay's doing and some new projects that you got going on also right now. So
Absolutely.
we're really looking forward to it. As you can probably see in the background, we're here in the barrel room. It smells delicious. Lots of great wine, I think, aging here. It could be in heaven for quite some time in this room. So George, welcome. Thank you so much for taking some time out. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Tell me a little bit of the history of Jay.
Well, Jay started 20 years ago, actually, with a collaborative project with Judy Jordan and her father, Tom Jordan. And you probably realize that Tom Jordan has Jordan Winery.
Okay.
And they just started as a sparkling offshoot from their Cabernet and their Chardonnay winery. And Judy then took over the business later on and really elaborated and then built the brand to where it is today. It's been about 20 years now.
Wow. Why did they decide to go into sparkling? You know, if they were in still,
you know, Judy asked that question even today. She says it's the hardest segment of the wine industry to be in, and why did we decide to do it? And I think it was just their passion for bubbles, and they wanted to have a beverage they could celebrate their special events with.
Great. Now you've started a still wine program.
Yeah, the still wines had already been in place here before my coming on board, which was prior to the harvest of 2006, excuse me. And but what I did is sort of tweak things a little bit and change how they were made, and really tried some pretty innovative techniques, to my knowledge, that haven't been used anywhere in the world yet.
You want to kind of tell us a little bit about those?
Well, yeah, we do all kind of things. I mean, well, with regard to Pinot Noir in France and Burgundy, they have long growing seasons, and so they have the ability to achieve physiological ripeness. Maybe sometimes, maybe not sugar ripeness. In California, we have the opposite. We have plenty of sunshine here, and so often our grapes are plenty ripe, but they're not physiologically ripe, and that usually means green seeds. So I just sweep them out of the fermenters, and we conduct our fermentations pretty much with minimal seed content.
Now, I can see here you've got your Chardonnay, and you also have, is it 4 Pinots?
4 Pinots, yeah.
Okay. You want to just tell us a little bit about the Chardonnay and about the 4 Pinots, you know, vineyard designated, I would imagine.
Yes. Yeah, we have, Judy owns about 350 acres within the Russian River Valley, which is pretty much only about a 20-mile by 40-mile long valley. It's a very small area. And we have vineyards all the way from the very north to the very south. And so when we make a wine like the Russian River Pinot Noir or the Russian River Chardonnay, it's really a blend of 15 different vineyards throughout the Russian River areas. Okay. And then we come with our vineyard designates. We have a vineyard called Noni's. We have one of our trademark vineyards that are really popular called Nicole's. Robert Thomas, both named for her siblings. And then we have Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir. Okay. And so my idea is, actually, if you see behind us all these barrels, last year we made, I think we made something like 105 different Pinot Noirs. Wow. And my idea is to capture the gems. So if we can capture 1 or 2 very, very special wines and bottle those separately, that's really what we're trying to do. So you're
kind of basically fermenting in different lots and barreling in different lots, keeping everything separate.
Doing everything. Try to pick the hillsides versus the valleys, and we're trying, I have 3 yeast strains that were isolated from Burgundy and haven't been used since the 1940s. So we're using those in our fermentation.
You didn't have to, like in the old days, put it in your boot and bring it
Samsonite yeast fermentation, I believe it's called. But we're doing a lot of different things now that really maybe have been used in France, but to my knowledge haven't really been used much in California.
Kind of very innovating, cutting edge of what you've got going on.
Well, I think so. It's you know, this is my 30th harvest, or last year was my 30th harvest, so I've pretty much seen everything, and so I'm really enjoying implementing different techniques that may have worked on Merlot or Cabernet or Zinfandel or Sauvignon Blanc, for instance, that have never been tried on Chardonnay or Pinot Noir. So it's a different type of approach we're taking.
So you're doing the Chard, the Pinot Noir, and your sparkling wines. And that's pretty much the program.
Yeah, our varieties are pretty simple. We do a little bit of Pinot Gris, and then the majority is just Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
Now, do you guys do any organic or sustainable, basically any organic farming along that
Well, that's
lines?
really tough because we do sustainable.
Because it's very tough down here because it's cooler.
It's horrible. And some of our vineyards, especially Pinot Noir, some of the vineyards are within 3 miles of the Pacific Ocean. So they really receive a lot of fog. And one of the things, it's like kids don't try this at home because it's like learning how to drive in a Ferrari. Both Chardonnay and Pinot Noir are extremely thin-skinned. So they're very susceptible to rot. They're very susceptible to any type of moisture. So in many of the vineyards, I mean, I think there's probably only one vineyard that I know of in all of Russian River Valley that's even attempting to farm organically. It's just that you get a little moisture on these grapes and they rot, they fall apart. So what we are doing is 100% sustainable. We have a very much of a program going on here. We're kind of a pilot program for the County of Sonoma in terms of our greenness and recycling. So we're taking as many type of approaches to sustainability as we can, but we're exploring the organic. But so far, it really,
just
to my knowledge, it's tough to do. If I were in Napa Valley growing Cabernet, boy, I could be organic all day.
But here's just a little different.
It's a little difficult, yeah.
A couple other questions I've got. One is, basically, what are some of the challenges of making news? A lot of people make sparkling wines. A few make great sparkling wines like you guys do. So, there has to be some challenges in, growing all the grapes and, basically making such a great sparkling wine.
Well, one of the things that I've found is really difficult with Russian River or with California in general is that the wines want to be fruit driven. Mm-hmm. They really want to have an impact of the character of the fruit. And my approach to sparkling wine is to really minimize the fruit while maximizing the yeastiness, the toastiness from the yeast autolysis. So the real challenge is to mediate the fruit character and to let the yeast shine. And in France, they do that very well because that seems to be a more susceptible area to that. So that's kind of a challenge for us.
Now you guys have a wine club?
We have a very, very, it's a very great wine club.
And then all that can be found on the website.
jwine.com.
jwine.com. Mm-hmm. And then the tasting room is open every day by appointment, or can people just stop by the tasting room?
Stop by the tasting room, and what's really pretty neat is we have what's called the Bubble Room experience. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, correct? We have a chef and a full kitchen staff, and they can come in and try a flight of wines and maybe a pairing of 6 different oysters or caviars, or it's a seasonal menu, and it's all focuses around Sonoma County produce. And for all your listeners, they just know that Sonoma County is a real bounty in terms of cheeses and seafood and meats and that sort of thing.
Now, do they need reservations for that, or is that?
It's helpful.
Okay, so
it's pretty popular.
Call the tasting room.
And the Bubble Room's amazing. It's just this plush, very luxuriant lounge, and they can stay 3-4 hours if they want.
We're going to the Bubble Room?
We're going to the Bubble Room.
I'll shoot a little bit of video so you can see it. So.